It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? If you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. Choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
I feel like my participation in this episode is going to be somewhat sparse.
Why is that?
I believe there's going to be a lot more here that you can relate to than I can.
Well, yeah, but we'll see. We'll see where we go.
I just got to be real careful on what I say in this because I have to remember I'm a dude.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely context here that you're not going to be capable of riffing on, so to speak. Alrighty, folks. This episode we are talking about Sorry Baby. Something bad happened to Agnes, but life goes on for everyone around her, at least. When a beloved friend visits on the brink of a major milestone, Agnes starts to realize just how stuck she's been and begins to work through how to move forward. This is a terrible name for this movie. I think it is all based in like the last couple of minutes where she's talking to her friend's baby and saying, basically, I'm sorry, bad things are going to happen to you, but I'm here if you need to talk.
I mean, I have noticed a number of movies seem to follow that, where something in the last 120 seconds is what ends up
this
being
movie,
the name of the movie.
This movie was about a lot, but I don't know, just having that last minute with the baby does not seem worthy of naming the entire movie Sorry Baby. But that is neither here nor there. What we do here is talking about what we would do. And in short, we have our character, Agnes, who we start out kind of at present, then we go in the movie, we go back a little bit, and then we go to the future. So we jump around a little bit here. But in short, what happens is Agnes is a student. She submits her thesis to her advisor. Her advisor makes unwanted sexual advances on her, which ultimately ends up with a non-consensual sexual encounter. And the advisor quickly realizes what he's done. The next day resigns, and Agnes is left dealing with this sexual assault that happened to her. And meanwhile, she has a friend who she's been through school with, who she adores, who is also pregnant and then having said baby that we see at the end.
So here's the odd thing I'm finding here. The timing on all of this.
Okay. What about it?
Like when he did everything to her, he did not work for the university. This was not like
No, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. He resigned at 4:16 p.m. the day before. And then we saw the lights go from lit to dusk to night. So the entire time there, he's with her, but he doesn't work for the university anymore.
I didn't hear it that way. I heard it that she reported this at 8-something Wait. She reported it at 4-something a.m. or 4 p.m. and he had resigned at 8 a.m.
No, opposite. She was speaking to the people at 8-something a.m. Presumably the representative for the university and the lawyer, who are women.
Well, okay, yes, but I saw that as day 2. So we have the day the incident happened, just for sake of argument, let's say that's Monday. She goes into the hospital, has everything tested on Tuesday, and Wednesday she talks to the school at 4 p.m. and he had resigned at 8 a.m.
No, it's backwards.
Okay, all right.
He resigned in the afternoon, and she was approached as she was getting there the next day, so 8 a.m.-ish.
that doesn't make sense. He invited her over to talk about her thesis. So you're saying he already didn't work there?
Yeah, and that's...
that's not what I took away. So
Well, because the university was making the point that...
He resigned right away after it had happened is what I had taken.
No, because here's the thing. They were making the point that the thing that happened to her is awful, but was not done by somebody who worked at the university.
Yeah, because he had just quit.
But if he had, it's a totally different situation.
I really wish we could go back here because this is actually relevant, and we can't. You have your version of things, and I have my version of things, and I'm not sure which one's right. But their issue of him not working there was that he had resigned.
No, but the problem is at that point the university is playing CYA. They're covering their own ass, and they want to make it very clear to her that they were 0% responsible because when this happened, this person was a former employee, not a current employee. Thus, you can't touch the university. If he had been a university employee at the time that it happened, then one could make the case that the university is partially at fault for this.
Okay, so we're not going to get resolution here without being able to go back and see the movie again. So let's just move forward on what happened.
I'm just saying it's a different way of viewing it. If he was,
well, your way is that there was intent of him to do that because his office was not clear. She made a point about his office was a mess when she was in there earlier, and the next day it was cleared out. So it's not like when the thing came through of he was supposedly had a job somewhere else, it's not like he had been packing up his office and the things were clear and boxed up, that his office was normal. And then all of a sudden, hey, I got a job somewhere else. I'm leaving. So
we also don't know exactly how much time passed between when she went to his office to discuss the thesis and then when she went to his house to discuss the thesis. Like, it may not have been the next day. It could have been several days later.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking that he resigned after what had happened because, again, he had no intention of leaving because his office wasn't there. But
so
again,
the way you're phrasing it makes sense. The way you're phrasing it does make sense. Oops, I screwed up. I don't want to deal with this. I'm going to run away now. And that's the thing, is it does make sense. If I'm right, then it's something a bit more sinister.
Yeah, very premeditated.
But I mean, he might have still liked her. Maybe that was the whole thing, is that, okay, this is my chance. I'm not going to get another one with her. If I'm going to do something, I need to do it now. Okay,
so we're not going to get resolution on this again without going back to the movie and watching it. So for the sake of moving forward with the episode, let's work around this, and then you and I can do some research to answer a question outside of the episode. So Agnes, regardless of the timing, she is raped by her advisor, her thesis advisor, and we go forward a little bit more than 3 years in our bouncing around timeline. And there's one point where she meets a guy who owns a sandwich shop that she meets because she pulls off the highway and starts having a panic attack while she's driving. So she pulls off the highway and ends up meeting the guy who owns the sandwich shop. And she starts to share that something bad happened to her. And he says, well, did this just happen? She goes, 3 years ago. And he says, that's not that long ago. It's a long time, but it's also not that long ago. And I thought that was really a good way and honestly just a really refreshing way to look at the passage of time when hard things happen.
I mean, 3 years can be an eternity. It can also be a blink of an eye, depending on what your circumstances are. And if your circumstances involved sexual assault, then 3 years might feel like more like a blink of an eye.
And I think that goes to any significant life event. I know with my mom's passage, sometimes people will think something just happened, and I'll say it was 3 years ago. And then sometimes I've met with people kind of thinking like, oh, that's a long time ago. And I was like, no, it's only 3 years. It's not that long ago.
Once you've had a parent pass, we'll discuss whether or not you think 3 years is a long time or not.
Yeah. So, obviously, depending on what the issue is, I guess I just really appreciated the fact in that the passage of time can be a long time, but it can also be not enough time.
Yeah, and and you can never be the judge of time passage for somebody else. As you can say, it has been 3 years. Like from a standpoint of like, yes, it has been 3 years, but you can't say whether or not that should be enough time or shouldn't be enough time because everyone's going to be different.
Yeah, that's really a valid point for so many things. Is sometimes a fact is a fact, but the story and experience and circumstance that we all bring to that is very, very different.
I appreciated the way the sandwich shop owner handled that.
Yeah.
That was like, I mean, what would you do? Exactly what he did.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. That very much stuck out to me. So we have Agnes in the fact that she's gone through this encounter and she...
Riley Herbst from 2311 Racing here, and you know what grinds my gears? Waiting for coffee. But instead of counting frappes and lattes, I fire up Chumba Casino. No apps, no fuss, just fun social casino games to pass the time. By the time my coffee's ready,
order for Riley.
I've already taken a few victory laps. Next time you're stuck waiting, make it entertaining. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Goes on to be part-time faculty at this school and ultimately promoted to full-time faculty. And she is put in an office that is the office of her attacker who has since left the school. And she doesn't want to say anything. And her friend is like, if you don't want to say anything, make up an excuse. Say, there's a dead rodent in the wall. Say that there's mold. Say something. But she has been put in this office and hasn't said anything. What would you do? I can understand you're promoted and you might not want to rock the boat, but you were promoted into full-time faculty because people liked you. And chances are everyone that promoted you knows your history.
Yeah, but say
with what happened.
I mean, it may not have gotten widely out, but obviously at least someone with the university
someone
and a lawyer
personnel.
knew. So it wouldn't be that difficult to say, hey, listen, I'd really just like to swap offices. Now, it sounds like she was also looking at it from a practical perspective. She's like, it's a big office. It's got good windows and light. I like that. And I could ask to get moved, but I'd probably get moved to a worse office. So which is worse? Now, if the assault itself had happened in the office, then I don't think it freaking matters how many windows it's got or how big it is. You get me the hell out of there.
Yeah. I mean, I think if someone notes what office she's in, it's probably noteworthy to them. If it truly didn't matter, I don't think you'd mention it at all. But yeah, if I had
it was definitely a factor.
Slightest degree of discomfort with something like that. The reality is you just got to advocate for yourself because people are oblivious. They are focused on themselves and their own needs and wants in life. And you and your needs and wants and preferences are not a blip on their radar. So you really need to talk.
And it's interesting you bring this up because it's going to make me bring up a point here. And again, this kind of goes back to knowing the circumstances. Like, was he employed or not employed? Because I think this is actually relevant here. And so knowing his thing, one person's sexual assault could be another person's, we just weren't seeing eye to eye.
Okay,
and that's the thing. It's like, from his perspective, he might have been like, I'm the guy. I'm supposed to be the quote-unquote aggressor. I'm supposed to be the one that's making the moves. She hasn't expressly said no.
But she's repeatedly moved his hand when it goes into her pants and into her underwear.
Yeah. I mean, that should be more than enough clue. And it kind of just explains where we are in this day and age, that as a guy, like, you need to get consent. And she didn't say no isn't consent. Now, there's plenty of times that you may hook up with somebody and where you don't get consent and it was perfectly consensual. I've had times where I was a little on the fence. I'm like, part of me thinks maybe they're in and part of this thinks maybe they're out. Like, like she pulls his hand out of her pants, but then goes and starts kissing him again.
Yeah, that I understand she was thinking, I'll give him something.
Yeah, I'll give.
I understand that mentality, but yeah, it definitely could be confusing or misleading to someone. And I just thought of a fact from the movie that I think illustrates why I'm perceiving the facts of the movie as I am. When Liddy and Agnes were at the hospital, and Agnes was trying to get checked out for STDs or anything that might have happened because of the rape, Liddy got a text that said Decker, the advisor, had gotten a job elsewhere. And that's when Agnes said, oh gosh, his office was a mess. Nothing looked packed up.
But that
so that would have been at 8 a.m. and then Agnes goes and talks to the school at 4 p.m. So,
but you actually just kind of made my point though. How the hell are you going to get a job that fast?
Well, he didn't. It was a lie. It was the whole point is he was trying to excuse himself and extricate him from a situation of a student coming forward and accusing him. But he didn't. That was the whole point. He didn't.
But if you leave all of a sudden, that is just like
it's better,
you're waving.
It's better than someone coming to your office and cops coming to your office and someone questioning you about raping someone.
Well, I mean, it's not like they can't go to his home or find him.
But they're not going to come to his office at the school with all of his peers where his job is. He didn't really have a job. It was, I effed up last night. I'm frickin' resigning this morning at 8 a.m. And then she goes and talks to the administrators at the school at 4 p.m. So by the time she talks to them at 4 p.m., they're like, okay, well, he doesn't work here anymore. He resigned at 8 a.m.
Okay, here's the thing I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt. He resigned in the 4 p.m. hour, and she was talking to them in the 8 a.m. hour. Now, I'm 100% certain on that.
She went to the hospital first, and then she went to the school.
I don't know if it was necessarily day one, day two, or like back-to-back days, or if there was like day one, this happened, day two, she was at the clinic, day three, he did say yesterday.
He resigned while she was at the hospital. Sent out a text saying, I got a job elsewhere, while she was at the hospital the next morning getting checked for STDs. Anyway, again, neither here nor there, but just sharing that I remember that. So anyway, another what would you do is...
This will go in the show notes, boys and girls.
What would you do if you were Agnes's neighbor? Let's see. So she had a neighbor who was interested in her. Gavin.
Or Gavin.
And was kind of more like a booty call for her to bring him over when she needed him. But you could also tell he was thinking a little bit more about the future of, have you ever thought about what you want? Do you want the things that other people want and whatnot?
I think he was dating up.
Yeah, I don't know what he did. So that is one of our male characters here. So that's safe to ponder since you were worried about dipping your toe into the topics here. What would you think if you were Gavin? What would you do?
If she says, come fuck me?
Well, yeah, I know what you would do there.
Yeah, you go fuck her.
I'm just saying, but when you have that conversation where you're trying to find out if you're aligned with someone else's wants, and Agnes says, well, I never really see myself doing that. Do you cut bait?
Not necessarily. I think it depends on how strongly Gavin feels for her. I mean, and again, we don't really know how deep their history is at this point.
Well, they've known each other for at least 3 years because she meets him right after the rape when she's looking for some lighter fluid to potentially light his office on fire. And then we know he's in the future when Liddy comes over and says that she's pregnant. So that's at least 3 years that they've at least been around each other, not necessarily intimate with each other.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends. If you really think that this could be the one, sometimes you are going to say, okay, listen, I'm fine with being the booty call right now, because I think I can make this more later. So, or, I mean, if he didn't like her, I mean, maybe he was just, in the end, he became fine with it. He became fine with, okay, well, this is what our circumstances.
Well, and we never see him again after that to know what really happened.
Yeah,
after
there's
that conversation.
Yeah, this is certainly a massively situational. I've had relationships that ran the gamut of all sorts of different things. I've been the booty call for some people. I've had people who were the booty call for me. I've had ones where I wanted more and they didn't. Ones where they wanted more and I didn't. And like that whole ecosphere is just sometimes really hard to navigate. So I think he, in the end, was good with where they were. Obviously, maybe he wanted more and wasn't willing to push. I don't know, but I mean, in the end, if you keep coming over and being the booty call, like you're at least okay with that.
Well, again, I think it goes back to what I was talking about a couple of minutes ago. I don't know if you're at least okay with that, but use your voice. Advocate for yourself. If a relationship is not going some way that you want it to, make your needs met. Be like, I'm looking for more. I would love this to be with you. If it's not, you are and I are in completely different paths. Please tell me now because I am looking for something bigger, more substantial.
Sometimes you might firmly believe, and I've seen it happen, where one person is like, not really looking for more, and you're like, okay, and I hear you. I'm still going to probably play like I want you to want me more later. And you got to be careful about slamming that ultimatum down.
Well, it's not an ultimatum. You're not telling someone commit or don't. It's a matter of advocating for yourself. This is what I need. This is what I'm looking for.
And maybe that happened and we don't know. Maybe he was like,
well, we're talking about what would you do.
Yeah,
we're not talking about Gavin.
This is what I want. And she's like, well, I don't think I want that. And then he's be like, okay, well, do I still want to have sex with her knowing this? And clearly he seemed like he was like, yeah, let's keep going that route. I'm not getting what I want, but maybe his other prospects weren't great. Because I mean,
we didn't see him after.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. I've had situations where I was okay in a booty call situation because really I just had no other prospects, and it was easy. Because that's the thing. Things like that are easy. Like you don't have to really think about them outside of the time when it's happening. And if you're just needing something easy, that might work. Whereas if another prospect shows up, then okay, well, this might completely change where we're going with this and whether or not I'm willing to be okay with it. I mean, I've been on both sides of the booty call where the other person found someone that they wanted to pursue more, and then that just, I mean, it was fun while it lasted, but know that every single time could very easily be the last. If you do want the relationship, you do need to advocate somewhat, because if you don't, you run the risk that the other person is going to find someone.
Yeah, the fewer games you play in relationships, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah. I feel like there's more we could go into, but I also feel like we're running long. So I don't have any great. What would you? Do you have something?
Is this considered a good ending?
No, it's not. It's a terrible ending. When do we ever give a good ending?
Well, frequently, but I don't think we have anything else to talk about. What kind of ending?
Well, no, I said I think we do have other things to talk about. We're just running long.
Okay.
Like this wasn't. I didn't find this to be the greatest movie in the world, but there definitely were a lot of situations that you could look at and say, "What would you do?" in it. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we're not going to touch the what would you do with the mouse. But
oh yeah.
All right. Okay. Well.
Squeak, squeak, splat.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.